Welcome back, kings and queens of the kingdom, where today we're going to be talking about Barben Heimer, which has been the biggest craze of at least the last 2 months, if not the year so far. The Barbie movie in particular is already the highest grossing film of the year and shows no signs of slowing down, and it's not hard to see why the movie resonates with so many people buying tickets. It sells a quote-unquote women empowerment or feminist narrative. You know, smashing the patriarchy and all that. But children of God, it would benefit you not to be deceived. The Bible tells us the devil appears as an angel of light, and the Barbie movie is ultimately another expression of the backwards ideals of the fallen world. And in this video, I'm going to be properly breaking all of that down. So let's start with the Barbie origin, shall we? American businesswoman Ruth Handler was already playing around with the idea of manufacturing an adult body doll when she made a trip to Europe in 1956. This is where she came across a German toy company called Build Lily. She loved them and thought they were exactly what she had in mind, so she bought 3 of them. What we know today as Barbie is basically a simple rendition of Build Lily. Now, you might be wondering, why is this important? Well, the Build Lily doll is based off of a comic strip character called Lily, created for the tabloid newspaper Build, hence the name. The Lil'd comic strip was a filler cartoon, which was about the adventures of a girl called Lily, who was usually illustrated in a state of undress, showing her body off to friends, boyfriends, and even her boss. This is the sexual degeneracy that the Barbie doll is based off of. You can't separate a thing from its roots, especially when its roots are this direct. Matthew 7 verse 16 to 18 addresses this point by saying, quote, "By their fruit you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit. A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit." And trust us, they've tried their best to separate the Barbie doll from its roots. According to Robin Gerber, who is the author of Barbie and Ruth, Mattel had spent a lot of money, time, and effort on distancing the Barbie doll from the Build Lil'd. And according to Gerber, they took the doll from being a quote-unquote high heel away from being a prostitute to the relatable middle-class girl next door the world loves today. But the tree must bear its fruit. The Barbie doll was based on the beauty standards of its time and quickly became a stand-in for that beauty standard. Up until now, the Barbie doll is still viewed as the epitome of female beauty and sexual attractiveness. Several girls and young women starve themselves, and they spend thousands of dollars trying to achieve that figure of a doll. It's pathetic. You would be hard-pressed to find a better illustration of the self-destructive tendencies of our sinful nature. Beautiful young ladies who are fearfully and wonderfully made have been convinced they are physically inadequate because of a line of kids' toys. There's something sinister about that, and the Bible's beauty isn't vain or being superficial like the world's. It says in 1 Peter chapter 3 verse 3 through 4 that your beauty should not come from an outward adornment, such as elaborate hairstyles and the wearing of gold jewelry or fine clothes, but rather be that of your inner self, the unfading beauty of a gentle and quiet spirit, which is of great worth in God's sight. Now that we've gotten over the origin of Barbie, let's discuss Barbie the movie. The 2023 live-action film is a satirical fantasy comedy about the world's most famous doll. This film has been a buzz for the internet and a hit with critics and viewers alike, making a total of $1.38 billion so far at the box office and has spawned countless memes.
The movie, of course based on the famous plastic doll and starring Margot Robbie and Ryan Gosling, took just 17 days from release to pass the $1 billion mark at the global box office. It really is a case of life in plastic is fantastic for makers Warner Brothers. Indeed, they have already coined the word Barbillion. Now, the Barbie movie is the first in the studio's 100-year history to sell so many tickets so fast.
It also has a huge topic of discussion and debate since it came out, a phenomenon this video will admittedly contribute to. But is the movie even biblical, and will it spiritually edify its viewers? Well, according to the movie synopsis, stereotypical Barbie and her boyfriend Ken leave the matriarchal Barbie land for the real world to find her owner after she experiences an existential crisis. There, Ken learns about the patriarchal system for the first time, and upon returning to Barbie land, persuades the Kens to take over and manipulate the Barbies into submissive roles, kind of like housewives. Upon stereotypical Barbie's arrival, though, the Barbies are then freed from the grip of the manipulative Kens, and they band together to crush their patriarchy and reign power. Stereotypical Barbie then meets the creator of the Barbie doll, Ruth Handler, who then helps her find her purpose. And upon receiving clarity, she decides to become human and return to the real world. The end. Well, now with that out of the way, let's dissect the different themes, messages, and agendas that the Barbie movie is trying to pass across. Let's begin with the most straightforward of agendas here, like the trans one. It's everywhere you look at this point, from companies like Anheuser-Busch using Dylan Mulvaney to promote Bud Light, to various drag queen story hours, to governmental and medical institutions who are pushing for their acceptance and normalization. Transgenderism is nothing but a dangerous trend, another one of the devil's wills to hold the children of the world hostage. This perversion has no biblical basis and no moral justification whatsoever. This is made worse by the fact that they are desperate to force this agenda on kids. Harinef, who is a trans female, really a guy who is dressing up as a woman, plays Dr. Barbie in the movie. This was heavily included in the marketing of the film and was one of its major selling points. It was basically Mattel and Warner Brothers trying to rope people into watching their movie by attaching themselves to the latest liberal obsession. The LGBTQIA+ agenda that the movie's trying to push doesn't just end with trans people. The movie also has very deep homosexual undertones. Ken gains admirers in the form of two gay lovers whenever he enters the real world, and the nature of the relationship between the Kens and Barbie Land is a frequently homoerotic one. God frowns upon the sexual deviancy of this and the various generations that pride itself on it. The devil is working very hard in these end times to recruit as many souls as he can to hell with him. Another theme that pervaded throughout the film was the blatant denigration of femininity and of womanhood. The first thing that you're shown in the movie is a bunch of little dolls smacking their baby dolls and saying, "Girls don't have to be mothers anymore." The movie even stars Barbie Land as some sort of matriarchy where the women are in control and the men are pushed to the side. This is the end goal of the feminist agenda anyway, to become men. The patriarchy of the Kens is portrayed as some sort of chaotic and oppressive existential threat which harms Barbie Land, while the matriarchy of the Barbies is portrayed as idyllic, peaceful, and perfect all around. When they assume more traditional female roles and are submissive to the Kens, is portrayed as oppression and the product of brainwashing. The clear message that the movie is trying to pass across is that submissive feminine women who want to be homemakers and biblical mothers for that fact must be under some kind of spell, the victim of brainwashing. A real woman doesn't need a man, so they say, rejecting the biblical truth that men and women were created to be together. This ideology runs counter to the will of God for women and traditional families. The devil and his agents package this together as liberation, and this anti-human trap is a women empowerment thing. We are all reaping the dividends of this ideology with a rise in broken homes, baby mamas, and the narcissism that parades itself as love these days. The worship of the self and the elevation of the self above everything else, which motivates people to reject the perfect will and design of God, is also the first step on the road to perdition. Near the end of the film, you can tell that Warner Brothers and Mattel end up making a superfluous attempt to disingenuously play both sides by having a strong mother character haphazardly spill out some sort of a half-hearted caveat of a speech that she gives to Barbie which says, in fact, it's okay to be just a mother. Truth be told, this is clearly just an attempt to cover all bases and deflect any accusation of the agenda that it's trying to push. It clearly states in Romans chapter 12 verse 2 that you do not need to conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may prove what is good and acceptable, and it is the perfect will of God. The goals of this world are in direct opposition with that of the kingdom, and as a believer, you can't afford to play along with the sensibilities of a world which is spiraling into damnation. One of the main goals of worldly entertainment like Barbie is to take the children of God from their first love. So be watchful. And that's the end of the video, guys. Thanks so much for watching.